Mr. President, Senator Klobuchar and I are here to talk about National Adoption Month. I think we're started a little bit late, so by unanimous consent, I'd ask that we be allowed to extend our closing time by that same number of minutes. Mr. President, it's good for both of us and our colleagues to be thinking this month about Adoption Month, to recognize the celebration of National Adoption Day, which will occur this Saturday. I have the real privilege of serving as co-chair of the Coalition on Adoption with Senator Klobuchar from Minnesota. It's an opportunity for not only for us to work together in a bipartisan way, but an event we were at just the other day, I was told that the Adoption Caucus, House and Senate, is the biggest caucus of either body and the biggest caucus of the Congress. And of course it should be. It's built on the idea that kids have the need of a family, and that there are families out there that want to adopt kids, and whether that's nationally, domestically, or internationally, we really work hard to try to make that more possible. Our House co-chairs have been great to work with. Senator Klobuchar and I are working on several pieces of legislation right now to make it easier for families to adopt and to make sure adoptive families have the support they need to stay strong. One piece of legislation we're working on is the adoption tax credit refundability. It's a little bit outside the norm of the discussion of simplifying the tax code. But I was pleased the other day to have some important evidence put on the table when the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, who, by the way, is an adopted father of 2 sons and an advocate for adoption and for kids, when this was not in the House bill, when the current adoption tax credit wasn't the House bill, he said, well, one of the reasons it's not there is so many families that adopt kids don't pay income tax because of the low level of their income. And my thought was, well, that's exactly what Senator Klobuchar and I have been saying. That should be a refundable credit as well as a credit. But I'm glad to see the current credit back in the tax bill that the Ways and Means, that the Finance Committee is looking at now. But we want to continue to look at not only the current credit, but expanding that. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, 1/3 of all adopted children live in families with annual household income at or below 200% of the poverty level. So because of that, the tax burden's low. They don't pay income taxes, and the adoption tax credit isn't as helpful to those families as it is families that actually have income tax to credit it against. More than 400,000 children now in the United States are also in the foster care system, and more than 100,000 of those 400,000 kids are ready and waiting for families that they can call their own. Lots of other children need to be in families all over the world, but we can be looking carefully at the children in our system now. We both looked, and others have joined us in that, of looking at the foster care system, of ensuring that a behavioral health screening happens within 30 days of getting into that system, because once you get into that foster care system, often it's because of unavoidable challenges that families face, and often it's because of challenges that kids should never have to face, so that early evaluation of what is going on there can really make a difference in how foster kids are dealt with in the system and how they get ready, as 100,000 of them now are, to leave the foster care system and be adopted. Before I turn to Senator Klobuchar, I just want to mention some kids right now that are on the Missouri Heart Gallery, it's called. More than 1,200 Missouri children are in need of permanent homes. Missouri Heart Gallery is a place to look as we approach the end of this year and see what the story of some of these kids. Brandon, for instance, who's 12, loves to play games. Lego sets are his favorite toy. He likes to smile and give hugs. He probably hasn't gotten enough hugs in his life up till now, but it is possible to try your best to catch up with kids that need hugs. He needs a stable and loving family. He's often playing outside. It'd be wonderful if he was playing outside a house that he knew or a home that he knew was the permanent home for him. Shania and Shanae are sisters who hope to be placed together, and they hope to have the chance to maintain contact with their aunt following placement. Shania loves dancing and cheerleading. Her favorite color is green. She hopes to be a scientist one day. Shanae's favorite hobby is singing, and she makes friends really easily between her dancing and singing skills that she shares with her sister. Both of these girls would really bring a lot of life and vitality into what you would hope would be their family forever. Brandon, Shania, Shanae are in need of permanent, loving homes. This is a time when we ought to be thinking not only about the obstacles to adoption, the things that encourage adoption, but also how we can make the support system for both adoption and foster care and adoption out of foster care work better. So I know my colleagues will be eager to join Senator Klobuchar and me in marking November as National Adoption Month and by passing our resolution today. And I'd turn to my friend from Minnesota, Senator Klobuchar.